Now, so you've got to learn to get this going. Now, the way in which you get the ghost stroke going is when you hit the snare drum on the rim shot, keep it down low. Don't leave it on the drum, but keep it down low. And then it's easier to do a soft hit. And once you've got it, you've got to start going through your rock beats. Now, the most difficult rock beat to do it first with this is exercise number 3 in the 8th note rock beats. Because what's happening with this is this little ghost stroke is going in between the 2 bass drums. And to learn how to do this, you need to practice this. Bass drum hi-hat, ghost stroke on the snare drum, bass drum hi-hat. Once you've got that, do a rim shot with the hi-hat, and then you get this sound. Because that's what's happening after the snare drum you get. And then after the second one, a little ghost stroke. Once you get your head around this, you'll start doing the other beats. If you're doing like this on the bass drum, the 2 bass drums are happening after the ghost strokes. That's pretty easy. It's just when you've got etc. Now, if you play more offbeat 16th notes, some of those 16th notes on the bass drum will meet the ghost stroke. And that's just a bit of practice. So have fun working on those. Now, the next layered groove I've got in the book, it's a very simple beat. A lot of people would probably call this a disco beat, probably because it didn't come from disco, but it was very popular in the 1970s, and it's this. I just call it a 16th note groove, because it doesn't mean I'm always playing disco. Now, disco's cool, nothing wrong with disco. So with this, again, just start with basic rock beat. So instead of doing this, essentially what you're doing is you're playing the rock beat with one hand, and you're filling in all the gaps of those 8th notes, which will make 16 notes, which you then call 16th notes. Try and avoid doing this. Just try and make it a bit comfortable. And once you've got it, you've guessed it, you go through your rock beats. Now, any of the 16th notes, that is the offbeat 16th notes, will fall in time with the left hand. Bit of practice. Which is pretty cool. So that's exercise number 4 in the layered grooves for the 8th note and 16th note rock beats. Now, there's another layered groove, which is the same rhythm, but you do it with one hand. So you can do the 16th notes with 2 hands, or one hand. Now, with one hand, you might find at first it makes more sense to go very slowly. Now, a lot of ballads, love songs and things, the drummer will play something similar to this. And there's all sorts of ways of accenting, that is playing loud notes within this pattern. You could go like, just on the count, maybe on the offbeat. There's all sorts of ways, and that will develop through listening to lots of styles of music, not just one style of music. So once you've got this, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and but just fill those 16th notes. Once you've got this, that's right, go through your rock beats. Now you'll see drummers doing like quite fast, even faster. This technique is a molar stroke, and there's different ways of doing a molar stroke. I'm not going to get too much into the molar stroke. I'll do that in level 2. But as it is, it's essentially you're holding the stick more in a locked grip between the second crease of the index finger and the thumb. And you're doing this. I'm dropping my sticks here. You're doing hold on. You're doing this motion with your wrist. And since your stick's more against your palm now, it moves. A molar stroke's a bit more relaxed, but this is more of a locked up molar stroke. So you'll see drummers doing that motion when you're playing fast. Takes a bit of practice. So at first, do these patterns slowly. Even, you know, whatever tempo. And in relation to talking about playing fast, don't force your hands to play fast unless you naturally play fast. Some people can naturally play fast. I certainly couldn't. I had to learn it. You'll find some young drummers you might go to school with or people you work with, whoever they are. Or a young drummer could be 85 years old. I just mean someone who hasn't been playing drums very long. Many people are born with what we call fast twitch fibers, more fast twitch fibers than other people. And the extra fibers within your muscles and your arms and your legs or your hands, which enable you to move quicker. So people who are like good at boxing or rugby or wrestling, they're really fast with their hands, where some of us other people are maybe better at long distance running or, you know, shot put or something. So some people naturally will just play fast on a drum. If you're not one of those people, don't push it because you'll hurt yourself. And I mean you'll do tendon damage, which takes a long time to repair, if it ever repairs at all. So do this stuff slowly at first. Now the next layered groove, number 6 in the layered grooves, it's the same as the what I called at first the disco beat, which I call the 16th note rock beat, except your left hand stays on the snare drum. You'll sometimes see Chad Smith and the Red Hot Chili Peppers playing this. So again, you're just playing a basic rock beat with one hand and you're filling in the gap with your left hand. Now these left hand notes are ghost strokes. If you do this, it may sound like you're trying to play something else. So, not that that's wrong, but just try and get these dynamics. The dynamics being loud and soft notes. Once you've got it, start going through your rock beats. Same old story again. And experiment with accenting some of these left hands. So that's number 6. I think this is beginning to make quite a lot of sense how these patterns work. Now, number 7 is using open and closed hi-hat notes. This. Now, how I'm doing that, if you can see with my foot, I'm just rocking back and forward on my foot. Some people like to use their whole leg. Whatever works for you, you know, there's more than one way of doing things. Don't ever let any drum teacher tell you there's only one way. You get these drum teachers, there's only one way to do something. Rubbish. There's more than one way. Otherwise, we'd all be doing exactly the same thing. Stupid comment. So you work out what works best. With the hi-hats, make sure when you open them, let them sizzle. Try not to do this. Unless you want that sound. That way you're really just sort of getting the top cymbal. If you want that sound, brilliant. If that's not what you're going for, well, listen to what you're doing. So don't open it too much. And once you've got it, takes a bit of practice. You've got to learn to incorporate that into a basic rock beat. And that's it. And you've got it. You start going through all your beats. Lots and lots of practice. So there you're opening and closing hi-hat patterns. Now, the last one, number 8 in the layered grooves, uses a lot more ghost strokes within your playing. Now this one is like this. Now I'd recommend to first learn this. What you'd need to do is you go back to the original rock beat with the ghost stroke, which is this. But what you need to do is put in first a second ghost stroke, which is like 1E, 2, a 3E, 4, a 1E, 2, a 3E, 4, a 1E, 2, a 3E, 4. Once you've got that, you've got to put a ghost stroke in straight after the snare drum. 1E, 2E, a 3E, 4E, a 1E, 2E, a 3E, 4E. Now this will probably take some time. But ba, 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 ba. So when you hit it, you've got to keep it down low. If you do this, well, you're going to end up with this. It's going to feel a bit strange. So now once you've got it, that's right, go through all your rock beats. So there you go, strokes on the snare drum. So what I'll do now is just play some patterns and just play some of these layered grooves and just see how you. What I'll do, I'll play the same beat. That's what I'll do. I'll play the same beat, but I'll change it by just playing a layered groove. And by changing things, you're actually making something sound different when really it's not. Let's play. I'll just do this beat, so it's simple to understand. Okay, I'll now play on the ride cymbal with a hi-hat in 2 and 4. Okay, back to the hi-hat. Now I'll play on the ride cymbal using the bell and the taper of the cymbal and quarter notes on the left foot. Okay, this time I'll bring in one quiet ghost stroke on the snare drum. 2, 3, 4, now. Which makes it sound different. Okay, I'll go back to the other beat, the original beat. I'll now play 16th notes with 2 hands on the hi-hat. Back to here. Now do the same thing. 16th notes on the hi-hat again. 1 hand. Which sounds different to 2 hands. And now 16th notes between the hi-hat and snare drum. 2, 3, 4. Back to the original beat. I'll now do open and closed hi-hats. And then finally, the beat with all the ghost strokes. 3, 4. Thank you and enjoy.